everybody. I want to talk to you about one of my favorite horror movies, The Fog from John Carpenter. I'm a big John Carpenter fan, by the way. This one's probably my top 10. It's directed by him. Deborah Hill is a producer. It's with Adrian Barbeau. Let's see my list here because it's with a lot of famous horror alumni. You've got Jamie Lee Curtis, Tom Atkins, Hal Holbrook, uh, Janet Leigh, Nancy Loomis, Charles Cyphers. Charles Cyphers is Chief Brackett from Halloween, and Nancy Loomis is Annie from Halloween. So, a lot of horror known actors. Now, this is about a story of a ship in hundreds of years ago that um, was a ship with leopards in it, and eventually they wanted to bargain with them because they were really rich with another communion to buy a settlement, a colony. Eventually they said okay, agreed, but six of these people conspired and said we don't want a leopard colony 2 miles from our colony. So they make a false fire at night, and the ship breaks down and capsizes, and everybody drowns. So after 100 years have passed, these ghosts, the leopard's ghosts, they basically come back and to take their revenge. And of course they do. I believe the first kill are three fishermen who get a sword through his belly. One gets a hook in the neck, and one gets like a two poker or something between the eyes. But you don't see a lot of gore. The weird thing is that a lot of these scenes weren't put in, and then they said you need to add more gore. They added the scene, the sword coming out, the hook getting in, but you don't see any blood. Like I said, John Carpenter is a guy who doesn't really want to use a lot of blood. But again, this movie, it's in Antonio Bay. This bay on itself is creepy, and I'm not sure, it has a eerie feeling over it. It's like isolated, and it's a great story. Now it's not it's not circulated to one character like Tom Atkins and Jamie Lee Curtis. They get together. The first thing she's a hitcher, he's the drunk driver. First time they see each other have sex, of course, Tom Atkins, he's the man without a mustache, fucking without a fucking. Tom Atkins, please bring back the stash. Please bring back the stash. Now you've got Nancy Loomis, Janet Leigh, and Hal Holbrook, who's somewhat together. Adrian Barbeau has a what's it called, a fire tower, where you see that's on the edge of rocks, and he has this slide to warn ships there's land there. She has a radio station in there, and when of course things start to get array, she sees the mist coming towards Antonio Bay, and she starts to notice that something isn't right, and another person dies, then another person dies, and then of course we're getting to a point that they know there's something in the mist. So everybody she is sort of the voice of reason, Adrian Barbeau, to let everybody through the radio say go to the church. It's the only point you can go. of course, at that point, the mist knows she's a nuisance and comes to her station, and the the leopard pirates want to kill her too. And of course, at the last stand is at the church. The Hal Holbrook, the priest, he's a drunk priest. He's already drunk, and we're doomed. We're doomed. But there is, he found a book behind stones, and that said that he was, I think, from all the people they killed, Hal Holbrook is the only ancestor of all these guys. So Hal Holbrook, his grandfather wrote this, and he wrote that he was a conspirator and this and this and that, and wrote something that the gold is in the church. I mean, something, the gold was hidden behind a wall and melted into this big cross. Now, their idea of to get rid of the pirates is giving back the gold. Now, this seems to work. Now, the Captain Blake, which is the captain of the leopard pirates, is played by Rob Bottin, by the way. He's the special effects guy from The Thing, my second favorite horror movie, or also Carpenter. One of the best special effects guys that you ever see. That practical effects, maybe even better than Savini. Maybe, and I know maybe I'm gonna make some people mad, but what he did in The Thing, goddamn. Now, eventually, the ending is he says, yeah, this is a spoiler alert. I'm gonna, sorry, I'm spoiling it again. He says, "Why not me? Why not the sixth one?" Then, of course, the mists come back. We have Captain Blake standing behind him with his sword, and jack, and you don't see, just you see the blade hitting his head, and cut to black. Now, this is a great movie. Atmosphere, like I said, building up tension, atmosphere, claustrophobia, eeriness, kills, but you don't need the gore. It's just so damn good, and it wasn't well received back then. Again, but now people are loving it. They're loving it. I mean, I've got a figurine from NECA Real Toys, you know, with the fabric figure, with the fabric, with the real fabric. Look at that. That's the tower where Adrian Barbeau works. And then here you got Captain Blake swinging his sword. His eyes in the dark glow. I mean, I'm such a big fan of this movie. It's it's one of the better ghost stories that I have seen, and I can only recommend it to see this movie. It's a half ghost, half slasher movie. The ghosts are sort of the slashers, and of course you got the paranormal aspect in there with the ghosts, but it's really good. Watch it, and don't be one of the 6 conspirators.